Let's bring you other developing stories this Saturday. The African Transformation Movement, that's the ATM, is holding its 5th birthday rally and launching its 2024 election campaign in Gqeberha this morning. Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium will be addressed by various church groups and other political parties, including the EFF. The ATM says it's on track to improve its results from the last election, despite the departure of some prominent leaders and questions about its formation. Let's get you some insight this morning. We're joined by our reporter, Govan Whittles, who is in Gqeberha. He joins us from the stadium ahead of that event. Very interesting indeed, Govan. Good morning. It's great to see you. That the EFF will also be addressing what is the ATM's birthday celebration.
Very interesting. They're an official guest of the ATM invited here, confirmed to be attending. Yesterday, the president of the ATM, Vuyo Zungula, saying that they invited all the parties in parliament. The EFF, just one of those parties that are honoring the invitation. A few others, we believe. Not that strange, though, since we did see the ATM marching alongside the EFF on March 24 during that national shutdown. The party coming into its own, though, for some perspective, the ATM got around 80,000 votes in the last election, the national one. So they got 2 seats in parliament. It looks like they'll get much more this time. That's just based off of the kind of endorsements they've received from the 12 Apostles Church in Christ group. Let's speak to the spokesperson of the ATM, Zama Ntshona. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ntshona. Let's begin with this event here. We are noticing a lot of taxis, a lot of buses arriving from what appears to be across the country. Where are these people coming from? How many do you expect here today?
Thank you so much. Today for us is a very beautiful day. As early as 1 o'clock in the morning, we started seeing buses coming from all over the country, the 9 provinces. Not only that, over 4,000 wards that have actually deployed people to come and fill up this 46,000-seater facility. We expect that, in fact, we expect nothing less. The aim is to fill up the stadium so that we can be able to have a program that is indicative of a party that is ready to serve and ready to govern.
Tell us who will be speaking here today.
The president will be leading the pack, President Vuyo Zungula. The SG of the movement, Seven Kukula, will be speaking. The president of the Messianic Council of Churches and the chief apostle of the TACC, Professor Caesar Nongunga. The messages of support from parties like the EFF, parties like the ACDP, NGOs, traditional leadership and faith-based groups.
Finally then, Mr. Ntshona, we were speaking a short while ago about the fundraiser you held yesterday. How much were you able to raise during that fundraiser? And of course, there's been a lot of talk about tables for sale. Just give us a hint of how much the ATM tables were going for.
The ATM tables, you will understand, is a faith-based and self-funding political party. You do not have any big pockets that support the party, but it is the sheer size and numbers that are behind the groups that are following and supporting the African Transformation Movement, like the TACC and the number of other faith groups that are supporting us. Last night, the TG would be in a better position to actually give us the actual figures. But with just the people who were pledging support yesterday, well over 500,000 rand, touching to 1 million, but the actual figures will be actually disclosed by the TG.
And the cost of the tables?
Oh, no, 2,000 for a seat. You know, truly with us, it is about making sure that we are able to include. It must be inclusive, other than having people excluded from participation. We understand our background in politics and how we are getting into the advocacy space. The most important thing for us is even we are raising, and even in cases where we are raising funds, it is important to be inclusive.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Zama Ntshona, as the spokesperson for the ATM. Let's briefly bring in some supporters here. So just tell us your name and where you came from.
My name is Makosini. I came from Durban.
What do you think about the ATM and what made you travel so far to be here?
Without maybe saying much, one thing that I know about the ATM is a values-driven movement, and therefore values such as accountability and Ubuntu. And I just believe that with those values, the ATM is the right party to, lead the country and create peace and as a result, get the country to prosper.
Thank you, Mr. Makosini. Let's bring in one more supporter, ma'am. Thank you for your time. You've been here since early this morning. Tell us your name and where you came from.
My name is Nosipho. I came from all the way from Tata.
All right. What drew you to the ATM? What do you think about the party?
I think the party is beautiful. Its aim, the basic aim of ATM is to ensure service delivery for all. Yeah.
What do you think about the president, Vuyo Zungula?
Yeah, guys, please.
All right, I don't want to place you under pressure. Just a few supporters here, members of the ATM that we'll be speaking to throughout the day. The sun's starting to break over the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium at the moment. It's actually going to be providing a bit of relief. Quite a cold start to the day in the Bay. But we do expect to see the seats of the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium filled to capacity, as promised by the spokesperson. We'll be speaking to some of the leaders of the ATM. Also, the TACC Church would be an interesting voice here to find out if they're asking all their 4 million members across the country to vote for the party, and if so, how much of that will translate into real support, which could lead to the ATM becoming a bigger force in the National Parliament. For now, though, Michelle, it's back to you.
Well, Governor, before we let you go, the vantage point that we have from your picture there, it's quite busy. It looks like it's going to be quite a packed event there at the stadium. Is it a sign of perhaps increasing support and a sign of what's to come in 2024 for the ATM?
It could be. Well, this is a national election campaign launch. What we understand is that the ATM is seeking to reposition itself after the departure of leaders such as Mzwanele Manyi, and trying to position itself as a broad societal-based movement after emerging from the religious formations. Yesterday, at that TACC gala dinner, they also had messages of support from traditional leaders, and we got the sense that there is a call on the ATM leadership to broaden its outlook for the future of South Africa to attract more people. Well, they managed to raise 500,000 rand, at least during that gala dinner last night. We know that many of these people who've traveled here came on their own accord. There is also a significant amount of money being poured into transportation to get people here from across the country. So they'll hope to demonstrate their